There are a lot of changes at present due to the coronavirus pandemic. As a result, you may need to make changes to tenancy rents or apply rent-free periods in line with government advice or requests by landlords. This video has been prepared to assist you to deal with some of these issues and processes that you may need to undertake during this time. There are a couple of rent-free period and credit options. Option 1, by creating a disbursement debiting the owner and receipting the funds to the tenant, a rent reimbursement or credit can be applied. This option allows you to keep the tenant's rent as is without making permanent rent changes, whilst providing the tenant with the required reduction or credit or rent-free period. To process this option, a quick disbursement is created from the property using the self-presenting check 99999. Enter a clear description of your rent reduction, for example, 100 times 13 weeks due to the COVID-19, and using your account code 101 for residential rent. To process this option, the owner must have enough available funds to process the transaction and will charge management fees on all monies receipted. If the management agreement doesn't allow management fees to be charged or a rent credit, the fees can be removed on the rental tab prior to the receipt being created, and the owner's income and expenditure report will show the correct rental income. When receipting the funds to the tenant, enter a comment on the right-hand side. And the payment method is by direct deposit. Option 2 is to advance the pay to date or apply a manual credit. This option allows you to advance the tenant's pay to date without having to transfer funds from the owner to the tenant. You don't need to have the available funds to proceed. However, this option will not reflect on the owner's income and expenditure report for the rent credit that was applied. Change the paid to field to advance for 2 weeks and click OK and enter your reason. Remember, if you have a commercial tenant, you will need to also adjust the GST on the credit last month for the GST proportion. There are instructions on the knowledge base. If you want to charge management fees on the credit, you will be required to process a manual journal. If it is only a part payment of the rent period, enter a credit. Enter the credit in the tenant details on the rental tab and under credit last month. Credit last month can be altered or deleted as required. Any changes to the credit this month field will affect the rent received field, as they must always equal. We'll now look at entering a rent renegotiation. REST allows you to enter a rent increase or decrease and record it against the tenant details that will take effect on a future date. This option allows you to schedule a formal rent renegotiation in the Tenant Renegotiation tab that will automatically update the tenant's rent once the renegotiation date is reached. Please note you cannot backdate a rent renegotiation or add multiple rents. Each option will need to consider including the effect on the income and expenditure report for the landlord insurance policies may be impacted, legislation requirements when a rent reduction is increased back to the original rent, and permission to charge management fees on a rent credit as per the management agreement. For more detailed instructions, please view our knowledge base document below, and if you have any further questions, please contact our training team at training@rockend.com.